Hey there, Soulshine. It's Michelle here. And I know some people are on live. Some of my followers are asleep. I apologize for being so late in the day. I really do like to do my lives in the morning. But today just didn't happen. Interesting thoughts, interesting things going on. Yesterday, I went to an incredible meeting. I learned a lot. But among all the things that happened yesterday was a true blessing. See, one of my friends, her husband was with her, and her husband is a massage therapist. And he also does some energy work. And so he did some checking for me. He found out that I had the energy of worry that had been trapped from the time I was 19, which made total sense to me. 19 was when I got pregnant with my oldest son. There was a lot of energy around the law of chastity, the concept of being a chaste and virtuous person. I had a child out of wedlock. So there's some energy there, and I'm not sure if that's this or if it was just that motherhood worry about raising this kid right. Both concepts have kind of been coming up in the last month or two, so I don't know which one it was, but he was able to release that, help me to shift that energy. He also, there was a trigger point in my neck here that he worked with. He worked with my jaw, and then he had me stick my finger in my mouth for a minute and a half because he didn't have gloves to work on I think it's called the sphenoid. Anyway, bone that is up there, and it's been a miracle. Like, seriously, I was feeling so much better just like that. So the vertigo, that was then. And it's pretty cool, and I can truly consider it a miracle. Some of the other things is I was looking at, I'm sorry, because the vertigo may be gone, but I'm feeling tension in my neck. I think it's some of the other stuff that's been going on too. So some cool things happened yesterday. I had that happen. Committed myself to an adventure. It's one of those things that takes an investment with the faith that you're going to receive a return. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to take. It's a very large investment. And I'm not sure how it's going to work out. So it's an adventure. It's definitely an adventure. But the incredible thing is to come from a place where no matter what happened, it was, I can't afford it. It didn't matter if it was a $37 thing or a $3,700 thing. My first response was, I can't afford it. I have gotten to a point where now, instead of saying I can't afford it, I'm in this place of, okay, is this right for me? And how can I make it happen if this is the right thing for me? And this particular one takes a lot of financial investment, almost as much debt as I already currently have. I would get to create again. The possibility for reward is incredible. And like, I really truly believe that it would work. Now, that's not always the case for everything. A lot of things, there are no guarantees, but in this case, like, it seriously looks like a very reasonable option. I know that part of the reason why they keep the price so high is because they do want people who are committed. Whereas a lot of things of similar nature, they aren't teaching you the same things, and so it's pretty crazy. Anyway, so I'm working on that. Somebody's watching, and I just want to say hello to whoever's watching. Thank you so much for watching live. So I did that. So I went to this mentoring association thing, and we learned about marketing. I became very aware of a challenge that I have, but because of the study I've been doing on the chakras this week, I also became aware of I was like, that's this chakra, which is my weakest chakra, and that totally belongs here. It's a clarity thing. The solar plexus chakra, besides willpower, has to do with clarity. And so I was like, whoa, that's really cool. So now I know what to look at instead of just getting frustrated myself, knowing that I need to have clarity and not moving forward, understanding that this clarity in action is this weak chakra, and therefore I can address it as with a lot more compassion on myself, knowing what it is. I love that. Awareness is so important. In fact, somebody last night was talking to me about awareness. The desire, I guess, I'm not sure exactly how she worded it, but kind of this being aware, being determined to learn how to change it, and having the motivation to learn how to change it and how important those are. And I'm like, yeah, that's truly what it is to be awake. You make yourself aware of what's going on. You become aware of what's going on. You find a solution. You learn what you need to learn if it's a learning solution, if there's a gap, and you have that motivation to do it. And part of that motivation is wanting to be awake, to wanting to just be alive and living your life. And that's really cool. I ended up doing a home healing, like a house healing. I do energy work on houses. I haven't actually done energy work on a house since last year. And it was so cool. It was like, this is really cool. I actually enjoyed it. And I realized that I've been putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm like, I want to be a speaker, so that I've been focusing on that. For a while, I wanted to be an author. I have this all or nothing pattern in my life that I get to look at and decreate, so that I can create the pattern of being able to do everything that brings me joy. Because why can't I be a speaker, a writer, a healer, a mom, and all the other things, eventually a wife, all of those things that I desire? Why can't I do them all? But for some reason in my brain, it was, I can focus on being a mom and put my business concepts aside, or I can focus on being a business person and let everything go to HE double toothpicks and a handbasket, I just seem to be able to only focus on one thing at a time. And yesterday, as I was just kind of talking to this person, because actually what he does is real estate, and he was having a house that wasn't selling. And I just happened to mention the energy work and bringing that into, like, what would it be like to bring it into a real estate environment? And he just asked me about it, and so I told him a little bit. And then he hired me, and I did this healing on his home, crossing our fingers that it sells really fast. It was a really interesting experience, so it was fun to do that again. And that's when I became aware that I didn't have to shut that part of myself down. I can still do home healings. I can do soul healings. I can do YouTube. I can do writing. I can do speaking. I can be an incredible mom. I can be a wife, a girlfriend, a dater, whatever space I'm at in relationships. I can be a daughter. I can be a sister. I can be all of them. I don't have to let something go because I'm focused on something else. That's one of those things I've heard about a lot, but I just was needing sometimes you just don't accept the truth that you're hearing until you're ready to. It's line upon line. Things happen line upon line. And sometimes if you've got heaviness in your heart or anywhere else in your energy, you cannot allow a line to come on. When you get to a point where you allow that line to come on, you look back and you're like, I've been hearing this for years. Why wouldn't I accept it? And it's okay. It's just how it is. You're in the space you're in right now. You're ready to receive it now. You weren't ready to receive it before. Sometimes we hear things and sometimes we reject them at first. And sometimes we're like, oh, that sounds amazing. I have no clue how I do that. Sometimes we shut it out with that 4-letter word that is probably one of the most disempowering 4-letter word, and it's not even a real word, it's a conjunction. So you have can and not, can't. It's a 4-letter word with an apostrophe. And that is one of the most disempowering words that we could ever say. I can't do this. I can't. We just shut it down. We are just like, and it's like when we say, I don't know, that's another thing. I like to say, I don't know yet. And I'm starting to become like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet, but I'm open to the possibility, because to me, I feel like that's kind of a transition thing, is I'm not quite ready to say, I know how, when I don't actually know how. And so I've started saying, I'm not sure. I wonder how that is possible. If you can get yourself into the state of wonder, it actually opens possibilities. And it's incredible when you can open possibilities. I talked to somebody a couple days ago, and we were talking about possibilities of how things can be. And it's just really interesting when you start looking at the possibilities. Like, one of my things is how do I hire somebody to schedule events for me? Because that's something that I really don't enjoy doing. I don't like getting on the phone. It brings up a lot of anxiety. I could look at the anxiety, but it feels like with all of the other things that come up for me, I'm like, why do I have, I'm not going to say why do I have to, because I don't have to. But what I can do is look at the possibility of hiring somebody. It's a solution. And it's one that I wasn't ever open to until recently. And now I'm like, okay, so what does it take to get one? And do I have to be stuck in the idea of it takes money? There are people that would be willing to volunteer. I have a daughter-in-law that is currently, she's going to have a baby in a little bit, and maybe she'd be open to doing it for me. I haven't asked her yet. So there's possibilities sometimes, and sometimes we get stuck and we don't see any answers, or we see only one or two, and so we get in this stuck spot. And that's why I like that question, what would it take? What would it take? Because how can I? You can say, how can I? And it opens up, and it's still stuck on I. How can I do this? And so you can get some more ideas that way. What would it take allows it to open beyond just what I can do and allow everything in. And I think that's pretty fabulous, pretty cool. So that's another thing. Working on the what would it take? It's not just the possibilities of doing all of the things that I love, the possibility of being speaker, writer, healer, mother, all of those things. It's possible for me to be all of those things. That's the possibilities, and also opening the possibilities to solutions. And I think that's one of the key factors about abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. Abundance mindset is looking for possibilities. What are the possibilities of this? What, how can I? What would it take? That's abundance mindset. Scarcity mindset says, I can't. I don't know how, and so I'm not even going to try. So that's pretty cool. Today I got to talk with my friend, which I haven't done for a long time. It was so good. And that's part of why I wasn't on earlier today, is because I chose to reconnect with my friend, because it's been a really long time and I know we both need it. She's somebody that I help her figure out what she's got going on in her life. She helps figure out what's going on in mine. For her, there was some heart chakra healing that ended up happening. It was beautiful to see, and it was incredible to see her just go to just let a lot of anger go. And then with me, we were just talking about some things coming up with me and how fake I was feeling. I was really seriously feeling like a fake person, and she just She kind of helped me look at the energy. We looked at what was going on. The people pleaser costume, if you will, that I put on as a very young girl to try to make my mother happy and the other people around me happy. And then when we got through with that energy, she asked me, "Why are you genuine? Why are you genuine?" And she took me 7 layers deep, like I take her and tell people to do. And so she asked me 7 times. One time came up with a healing thing. Sometimes it was just allowing the energy to come in. And by the end, I realized that I've always been genuine. It's always been important to me that I've always admitted I don't have my life all together. I am not a perfect person. I still have things going on. I can teach you what I know, and if you apply it, then I hope that you do better than me. And I am trying to apply all of the same things that I teach you about. I teach you about the things that I know work. They may not create huge miracles all of the time, but they always do something. They always change something. They always change my perspective, if nothing else, so that I can be happy where I'm at, no matter where I'm at. That's important. That's really important for us to be happy. It helps me to change to a state of gratitude and being so grateful for what I have. I'm sitting here, and sometimes I just love to see what I look like looking back, because I've got the image on the computer. And I'm sitting here just going, dang, girl, you've got the prettiest eyes, and you were so pretty. And then thinking about how just 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to see it. I may have been able to see pretty eyes, but even then, even though I could accept compliments about my eyes, I still didn't like them that well. I mean, I liked that they were sparkly when I smiled and things like that. But I grew up thinking I was ugly, and I grew up thinking I was plain. If anything, if the best that I could be is plain. And so to be watching myself and thinking, dang, I'm so pretty. When they tell me I'm pretty, they're not lying, because I see it too. That's incredible. And that's the things that I can teach, is how to change your perspective. I can tell you what I'm learning about. I think that's one of the things I like about Anne. It's her channels, come learn and grow with me. I'm not this perfect guru set up to be above anybody. This is what I'm learning about, and I want to share it with you. And this is what I've done in my life, and it's worked, and I want to share it with you. Those 2 concepts of this is what I'm learning about, and this is what's worked for me, and I want to share it with you in case it helps you. It's an incredible feeling, and that's what I love about most of the people that I follow. And I found sometimes that I like following smaller channels because of that. There's a couple of powerful big channels, but sometimes I feel like they're not being as genuine as I need them to be in order for me to follow them. And it's just them, and everybody makes their own choices, and are choosing what to share. I'm sure that they're genuine people, and I'm sure that they have genuine things going on in their lives, and that their lives are not 100% perfect, because nobody has a perfect life. Everybody has that perfect being inside of them, and we're just uncovering all the layers, but nobody lives a perfect life. And we're striving for that, and that's okay. We're making changes as we become aware of where we're not happy. We have that inner perfection being. We have this inner perfection being inside of us. It's kind of like the guide. It's kind of like the person inside of us that keeps us going on the path to where we ultimately want to be. And as that person inside of us, that soul inside of us, comes across things that aren't quite working, it creates some way to help us to realize, hey, this is out of alignment with where we want to go. Let's become aware of it, and then let's heal it. Let's change our mind about it. Let's deconstruct this belief and realize it's not even truth. and choose beliefs that are true and keep moving forward. I think that's incredible. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. So I'm just kind of today, I was mostly just kind of rambling about it. Oh, I wanted to talk about my message because the home healing thing, a home healing, soul healing, they seem like they wouldn't be connected, but they are connected. And here's why. This body is a home. I live in a home. My body is a home. One of the biggest things I've struggled with is belonging. It's really interesting to me. It seems like I'm really focused on the root chakra, even though that is one of my weakest chakras. It seems like that's one of the chakras that is so important to focus on, because that's your grounding chakra, and that's your chakra that says, hey, this is home. You belong in this body. Your body is incredible. You belong here. You belong in this world. This world is incredible. You came here for a reason. When you came for a reason, it's incredible. You belong. And wherever you live right now, whether you're living in a cardboard box or you're living in some incredible mansion, whether you're living in the state you want to live in or the country you want to live in, wherever you're living, that's your home. Even if it's just temporary. And you get to love and appreciate your home and recognize that you belong there because you're there in that space in that moment for a reason. I'm living in this house, in this circumstances right now for a reason. And it doesn't mean I can't upgrade. It doesn't mean that I can't, that next week I couldn't move into a new home and this no longer be my home. I'm not going to be moving into a new body anytime soon. But I can still upgrade my body, and that's okay. But I get to love my body where it is now. I get to belong in my body where it is now, and I get to belong in my life where it is now. And recognize that everything that I've ever gone through in this world is creating my message to you. Everything I learn gives me things to share. Whether I am learning from incredible books or learning from a crappy life, doesn't matter where I'm learning from, or even learning from an incredible life. You can learn from an incredible life. You can learn from all kinds of things. And everything that you learn, every layer of experience you add to your life gives you more substance to share with the world just by being you. And I share my message that you belong and that you're a gift to the world when I'm healing a home, when I'm healing a house. And this house doesn't have owners, right? I mean, like my friend owns it as a flipper. But that house did not feel a sense of ownership because, you know, he's just a transitional owner. But I can give that house the energy that will attract people that will appreciate it and create a home from it. A sense of belonging for some family that needs that home. And so I can speak my message about belonging when I do home healing. And I can speak my message, I definitely speak my message about belonging when I do soul healing and healing the wounds that we experience as our souls are trying to adjust to living in a body. And I can speak my message on YouTube, and I can speak my message in a book, and I can speak my message on a stage, and I can speak my message with my family, let them all know how incredible they are, how much they are needed here in this world. I can speak my message in a grocery store as I'm going out and I'm just giving people smiles. I can speak my message with all of the people that I meet that will allow me. Like, I want to go out and do that free hugs thing, like the signs with the free hugs. I really do, because that would be so incredible. I wonder if I can get my friend to do that with me soon. That would be so cool. And I'll video it. I'm going to do that. Oh, that would be so cool, because the world needs hugs. The world needs that love, and they need to know that they belong. You need to know that you belong. You need to know that you are so important, and that we need you. We need you in all of your beautiful glory. whatever message you have to bring to us. Whether you need to bring to us a message of belonging, a message of play, a message of remember who you are, a message of love, of peace, of healing, of growth, whatever your message to the world is. Thank you so much for listening. I know this kind of get a little bit longer than I normally like to keep them. Remember to let your soul shine big, bright, light, and beautiful, and I will see you guys tomorrow.